Right, what am I doing here? Well, I'll give you a little bit of background. Well, firstly, I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's absolutely freezing and it's continued to rain for the last half hour. So ideal conditions to have an annoying test of a light. But I don't mind. So what are we looking at here today? So I'll get the headlight on here. So if I double click that, what we're looking at here, we are looking at, turn it up a little bit so we can see what the hell we're doing. So I'm doing this in 4K, HDR, 10-bit colour, and you should get the full colour gamut. One of the reasons why is I like to do good quality for the channel, and I want to try and show the CRI in this, which is supposed to be around 95-ish%. Initial tests show that to prove true on my testing equipment. So this is the initial quick thoughts of the Sofirn SP36. Now I realise there is an SP36 Pro. I think the 36 Pro uses some SST40s. You get 4 of them. This isn't that. And I think you get something outlandish like 8,000 lumens or something like that. This comes in at 5,252, I think, off the top of my head. These are just initial thoughts though. And you can see the eye of Sauron there. I'll turn this out. So you do have this button on. You can't change that with 7 clicks. You've got that, then you've got a breathing mode and a really low mode. And we'll get this down on the ground. So I'll show you its lowest setting. So it's ramping interface and you can't change that. It's got angular. So you can barely see that. You see that? That's allegedly, according to the manual anyway, 1 lumen. And I apologise for the wind noise and the rain. So that's out of my control. But it might show you a bit of the beam. So we'll ramp that up a bit. So that's about half. So we'll go for a walk. I'll try not to fall arse over the proverbial. So we'll come down here and we'll come along here. Okay, so if we'll come around a bit. What's all this stuff I keep finding? That looks like the sign. Do you know what that looks like? The sign off the X-Men with a doggy doo-doo bag with it. So I don't know what that sign means. That could be doggy doo-doo devil worshippers. But back what I'm supposed to be talking about. So it's using Angular, which is a great UI, and you can see from the rain there. In fact, we'll go to max. So that's max ramp. Look at the flood on that. It's a quad emitter. This is using the LH351D, whatever the hell they're called, the Samsung emitters, which are high CRI, so you don't get as much lumens as the 50.2 option. Is it the 50.2? Or let me have a think. Yes, on this one, sorry, it's the 50.2. Earlier, I may have made a mistake there. I was talking about another light I'm looking at. On that one, that's something, well, I'll show you in a moment. I'll show you that one. That's an Astrolux, but this is the Sofirn. So on this one, this is using the Samsung emitters, so you get high CRI. It's about 5,000K, this one. That's pretty good though. That's max RAM, but doesn't feel particularly hot. It's running off 3 18650s. We'll keep moving along here. We'll have a look at the river. Pretty floody for a quad, and I'll just show you that. Well, you can't really see. I want to show you the light, so if I go to that, so it's a quad setup there, and there down there are your Samsung emitters. Like I say, you can get a different model, but this isn't that. This is the standard one, which I don't mind. It's still enough lumens, and I prefer the higher CRI on this for flood, because it looks rather beautiful outdoors if I want to flood. Because lumens isn't everything, although I do like high lumen lights, you know. This rain will not stop. And I'm not really wearing waterproofs. Listen, it's piddling down, but it shows the beam nicely. So if we go to turbo, that might show the beam even better. So 2 clicks, right, that's turbo, that's its maximum. So that should be around 5,252 lumens. I haven't noticed a step down yet. That button I can't understand. Sometimes it's orange, sometimes it's orange and blue. It's very bright there, so there's no contrast, you can't really see that. But very nice so far. It's got Type-C charging. Before it came out, it did some charging. Yes, you can use it whilst it's charging. It is Type-C, and you can use Type-C to Type-C. So in other words, you can use power delivery, which is fantastic. I'm a big fan of that. And that worked. And on that, on Type-A to Type-C and Type-C to Type-C, pretty high amp rating. It was about 1.4, peaking to about 1.8, so nearly 2-ish amps. So yeah, pretty good, very impressive. This rain will not stop. What I'll do is, so you know what it is that you're looking at, I'll calibrate that by showing you some other lights. So I'll quickly turn this off and put it in my poacher's pocket. Right, what did I bring? What did I bring to test? Right, I brought a triple emitter, but it uses a 21700. It's using some old CRI emitters. It is the Utorch C8F. So if we twist that, because I did disengage it, because I'm a terror for setting these things off by accident, we'll turn that on. Fact, I think I've left that on. There, put that in. Right. So if we turn this on, there, and then we change it to double click is turbo. So it is a tail clicker, but you have the side button. So we'll come over to the side here and let's compare that. So not bad colour reproduction. It's not ideal conditions, this is it. It's pinned down, but it helps to show the beam. In fact, I'll do that to the side there. So there's the beam. Look. So the F on it denotes it a little bit floody, which is good. See how you've got a bit of width there, even though this is something of a thrower. It certainly looks like the 8 and the 8 Plus by Convoy, or the Lumen Top GT Mini and something like that. But pretty decent. So 21700. You're only getting about 3500 lumens on turbo on that though. So turn that off. Slap that in there. What else can we compare it with? I picked all lights that had smooth reflectors with multiple emitters. All the others have 4 emitters. So I went for a big whopper. This is the Astrolux FT02S. There you go, FT02S. This is 11,000 lumens with the right emitters, which is the CRI 50.2s, and I think this has 4 50.2s by CRI. And what we'll do is we'll turn that on. So not particularly amazing there, is it? But if we turn it up, boom, there's turbo. Bloody hell, look at that. Exceptional. Very white beam on the 50.2s, but that's the price you pay for more lumens. It's about 70% CRI, which is fine. It's certainly enough. Unless you're a flashlight snob, that's not going to really annoy you. And you can see the beam there. You've got the spill, but you've got that powerful central column there. Very, very powerful. So as we pull that down there, you can see quite wide. That's reasonably wide, but it does have a large head, and that's using a 26650. But Astrolux, and it's got my favourite, that half recessed button. I just wish the button itself was slightly into that thumb gap. That would be nice. Turn that off, get that in the pocket and try not to burn myself. Right, what else did I bring? Right, I also brought the one that I think I confused at the start of the video. Apologies. This comes in 2 flavours. So this is the EA1S. I think there's a 1 and a 1S. This is using, if I remember rightly, this is around 7,000-ish lumens, I think. You can get a much more powerful one, but I'm not going to go into this too much because I haven't even reviewed this yet. So we'll turn that on. I did disengage the tail there, so there's the blue light. So we'll turn that on. That's its lowest, not particularly impressive. It almost looks a little bit green, which would suggest that it's an SST 20 or a 40 or something like that. So turn that on to turbo, bang. That looks pretty good, pretty neutral-ish. I think that's around 5,000K if I remember rightly. So pretty good. It's much smaller. Still using a 26650 though. It's a stubby. So beam-wise, look, you can see that central column shaft there, very evident in the beam when you look at it to the side there. And you've got a sensible cone of flood there, pretty decent. I think that's good enough. So turn that off. Like I said, I don't want to show you too much of that. I haven't even reviewed that yet. Haven't even done initial thoughts. And then the classic, which I hated the UI on, but okay, it does the job. It is the Nightcore E4K, and again, quad emitter. I think it's 4,400 lumens this, and it's white. They don't give you a Kelvin value, but they just say it's white, white light. In other words, cool white or whatever they want to call it. So turn that on and then go to turbo. Fast step down this, I'm sure it's about 30 seconds, but very white, but very floody look. Even though, look, that's tiny. Look how floody that is. Even the central beam floods out. It's not an orange peel, which you would expect from that flood. It's a quad emitter and smooth. So any moment now, it's probably going to step down. So I'm going to watch, and I'll tell you when that steps down, because sometimes it's not as evident on camera. There, that has stepped down now. There, it's ramped down slowly over about the course of a second there. So it's gone right down from its maximum. So that was one of the problems with that, a fast step down. But that's, for its size, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. And I brought the classic. Also using 18650 cells. That last one was 21700, but this has 4 cells rather than the one I'm looking at, which has 3. It's the classic, the BLF Q8. Let me just disengage that. Right, boom, it's back on, and then there it is. It's at its lowest. So getting on old now, but you get about 5,000-ish lumens out of this. It's not bad. So turn it on. Turn it on. Start ramping it up. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll go to maximum. Boom. There you go. Look at that. Still not bad. I think that's a slightly warm tint. To neutral to warm, pretty good for an older light. Does a decent job. I've never had any bother with this. BLF type, beautiful. Heavy though, very heavy. Soda can type. I mean, look, I'm big. I'm 6'4". That's big in my hand and heavy. I had trouble carrying that when I was reviewing it. But look at the beam. You've got a big shaft in the middle. That sounds rude, but you do. You have a big shaft. And then a bit of spill. Yes, you get flower petaling. We'll show you that. Can you see it on the extremities there? Look at the flower petaling. You see it? But it's not that bad, it's to be expected on this sort of size, but pretty decent. So turn that off. and then we'll go back to the light I'm supposed to be looking at. So purchase pocket, where is it? Boom, I found it. So SP36 again, so about around 5,000 lumens. Like I say, you can get a better one in lumens, but you miss out on the Samsung emitter with the high CRI. So we'll walk along a little bit. So is there flower petaling on this? Let's have a look. So I'm holding this relatively close, as you can see, and there's that button that sometimes looks like the umbrella logo from Raccoon City, or what was that game called, Resident Evil. You see it on the button there? Sometimes it's blue and orange, and then the blue goes out. I know when it's charging it's blue, and then the blue, well, it flashes blue, then it goes blue solid, but that's on, and that sometimes turns off. It's a bit of a mystery, like one of the work oscillators I was looking at. So, right, flower petaling. Yes, there certainly is, up close, can you see it? But if we come back a reasonable distance, and that's not that, that's standing height, not so bad, is it? And the colour reproduction is nice on that. Those browns are looking good. The greens are looking decent. It's supposed to be neutral. It's probably around there. I think that looks pretty good. I'm absolutely soaked here. I've got I've got rain dripping off my nose. So apologies if I keep sniffing. That's why. I'm in terrible conditions here. So really good so far. So Type C, I like it. Cheap. It's supposed to be IPX8. It may be, and I'll show you. It does have the flap. That comes up, and then that swings out the way also. Type C, you can use power delivery. Type C to Type C works whilst charging. I'm pretty impressed with it. It only has a 1 meter drop rating. I think that's probably to do with the build quality and weight combined, which is fair enough. I mean, look, it's doing a great job. Let's go through the modes. So that's lowest, you can't see a damn thing. And if we ramp it up a bit, you can see a little bit, you see? Not bad, not bad. And as we'll come along here, that's about mid, I would say, mid-ish. And then if we want to come to this gate thing, it's stretching out a bit, enough, you could definitely walk by that. And then we'll ramp up to its maximum. And it is annual, so you get all the funny modes and stuff. And then we'll double click, boom, right, that's turbo. Right, so let's come down here. Actually, let's see if we can get down to the river. There's another of those signs that looks like that was an X. I keep finding them, unless they're these symbols off a PlayStation controller, I don't know. Aye, so very nice. And I haven't seen any ghosts, ghoulies, or orbs, or whatever the hell they call them, or Bigfoots. Just some bats and a rat, which was nice. So anyway, I've waffled enough. These are just initial thoughts. The full review will obviously be up in due course, but I try to spend at least 2 weeks with the light daily. And I find I'm able to find problems by doing that, and issues that I like and don't like. I think that's important. It's no good just whipping the light out and going, fantastic, super bright, 10 out of 10, right, next, hit the affiliate link. No thanks. So pretty decent. Anyway, I've waffled enough. Full review when I have time. I'm getting bombarded by manufacturers. So thank you for joining me, and I'm just going to shake the rain off my nose there. It's peeing down. And thank you for joining me. So good night, and I'll turn this off and show you how dark it is. So we'll turn it off now.